William Tell 62, the worldwide United States Air Force fighter weapons meet, in which the Lockheed F-104, piloted by Captain Chuck Toppery, streaked away with top honors. The F-104 Starfighter was the first bird in the air as the meet began at Nellis Air Force Base on the Nevada desert, Saturday, September 15th. This tactical weapons meet is staged once every 2 years, carefully planned to provide a rigid test of the men, their supersonic aircraft, their weapons, and the quality of the maintenance and logistical support behind them. The speeds to be flown, the maneuvers, the target analysis, the timing and precise navigation, the physical appearance of the targets was as near the real thing as possible. The last plane to land at the end of the meet on Thursday, September 20th, was the lone F-104, having outgunned and outbombed 13 other frontline fighters. A brilliant record of total victory. What makes a William Tell winner? A versatile fighter, adaptable to any job, both in the conventional and special weapons field. Easy to fly. Easy to keep flying because it's easy to maintain. While other fighters were grounded for maintenance during William Tell 62, the single F-104 entry ginned right along with no problems. The esprit de corps found in the winning team was inspired by their confidence in this bird. They could plan with certainty that the F-104 would perform as expected. Exacting pre-flight work ensured them that every mission was profiled precisely. The weapons meet champion, Captain Toppery of the 479th Tactical Air Command Fighter Wing, was backed up at all times by Raymond Krasovich, the team captain, Sergeant Philip Kerr, the maintenance chief, Airman Vetter, the crew chief, and all the airman assistants who rounded out this competent team, a champion team, operating one of the finest fighters in the Air Force inventory today. These are the ingredients of victory. And here is the performance. On Saturday the 15th, the Starfighter leaps skyward for the first nuclear weapons event. Chuck Toppery, in his eagerness, arrived at the designated target 38 seconds early, and so began this contest by being penalized 459 points. However, his near pinpoint performance in manual release of his nuclear store gave him 2,125 points out of a possible 3,000. Later that same day, in the drogue retarded release, he gained another 2,535 points. On the second day in the low altitude bombing system event, known to the pilots as OS Labs, Chuck picked up another 2,043 points. He would have earned a $5,000 more if he hadn't been penalized for a minor infraction of the stringent contest rules. So at this point, with his competitors well ahead, it looked as though Toffery and his 104 might become also-rans. As this second day drew to a close, one man stood out as potential winner, Captain R.D. Tucker. A superb pilot, a skilled mission planner. It looked like Tucker, the old pro, would walk away with the honors. As the next day's events began, Chuck knew that he had to make it today or be out of the running. The first event was the precision delivery of a 750-pound bomb to demonstrate the Starfighter's close support and interdiction capability. Targets were considered enemy, and every effort was made to get them on the first pass. Points were awarded accordingly. A second or third pass would not always be realistic. The enemy would have moved to intercept by then. Toffery's hit was so close to the bullseye on his first pass that 2,790 points out of a possible 3,000 were racked up. The day was off to a good start. Long rated, high among the traditional skills of the tactical fighter pilot is his ability to attack and destroy aerial targets. Tactical air doctrine emphasizes achieving and maintaining aerial superiority as a prime requisite for victory. This is a dart, a slim wedge-shaped aluminum target which can be maneuvered to simulate the flight of a high-speed aircraft. When airborne, this target is released and towed on a cable 1,800 feet behind the aircraft, with the tow pilot flying a butterfly pattern of evasive maneuvering. To score on this relatively small target, Toffery had to employ, to advantage, the Starfighter's extreme maneuverability and ready reserve thrust for acceleration. The dart is tantalizingly small to seek out and hit, while moving at over 700 miles an hour. The F-104 itself, with its elusive needle-like profile, is difficult to find, hard to identify. The judges had a problem keeping the bird in sight. Chuck's anxious crew members knew this was an exacting challenge. He had 450 rounds and 5 minutes in which to score a hit. Could he make it? Chuck had made it, and gleefully tells his team how. He intercepted the target, maneuvered into position at 0.91 Mach behind the dart, traveling at 0.75 Mach, and fired only 86 rounds from his 6-barrel 20mm cannon to utterly demolish the target in the record time of 63 seconds, a perfect score. After chasing most of his competitors for 3 days, Chuck was now in the lead for the first time. He had just passed Captain Tucker, the top contender, by a narrow margin. Now 2 potential champions congratulated each other, and each wished the other luck, but not too much luck. The close support missions were scheduled on the 4th day, and Chuck knew his bird excelled in this type mission. This should be a breeze. here was Toffery's chance to show this bird off at its very best. But here is where the bottom fell out of the meat for Chuck. He had bombed all the wrong targets. His score for this day was 0. It looked as if his misplaced napalm blasts had blown them right out of the meat. There were reasons for his error, good, valid reasons. But in the military, a good reason is never even a poor excuse. The job is either done or it isn't. It was a dejected crew that discussed that day's doings. Determined not to let one defeat knock him out of the race, Captain Toffery roared in with precision on the 5th day to claim a high score on the dive bomb. Burning with determination to win, Toffery clobbered his napalm and strafing targets dead center. Racking up a perfect score on each. On his rocket missions, he once again achieved the unbelievable, a perfect score. Out of all the hot fighter pilots in the Air Force, he had done it. This competent captain flew his F-104 through 10 grueling events in the toughest and most realistic test of skill in weapons meet history, scoring a total of 19,018 points out of a possible 24,000 to win the title. He had flown to victory, the only Lockheed Starfighter entered in this tactical fighter weapons meet, in competition with the top-rated Air Force pilots from around the world. And in this exacting demonstration, he had once again furnished graphic proof that the F-104 excels in tactical air-to-ground roles, in addition to its already proven air-to-air superiority. A highlight in Chuck's life was listening to General Sweeney, commander of the Tactical Air Command, read a telegram from the Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. Congratulations to you, Captain Toffery, and your F-104 for being more than 2,000 points better than your nearest competitor. Signed, General Curtis LeMay. Chuck Toffery is living a fighter pilot's dream. He's top gun of the Air Force and has glittering hardware to prove it. Symbols of a superior fighter pilot and his plane. The F-104 is truly a fighter pilot's airplane. Its versatility is virtually unlimited. It can deliver conventional or nuclear weapons on the deck. It can destroy aerial targets with a variety of weapons. It can perform at high airspeeds and extreme altitudes. The key to its effectiveness is simplicity in operation and maintenance. To sum it up, the F-104 has been undeniably proved to be the finest fighter flying anywhere in the world today.